Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It's interesting today because a couple days ago, it was like 78 degrees. It was warm as could be. The fish had come up from the bottom. They've been swimming around like crazy, and it got colder yesterday. Here's what's crazy. Saturday, it's supposed to be, I think, 50 and then rainy, and then it's going to be like an Arctic blast behind it, and it's going to drop down to the 20s and turn to snow. So I'm surprised that the water hasn't changed and gotten that much colder, because once the temperature gets below about 55 degrees, the fish go back into hibernation. The good thing for the fish is the water is deep, you know? The water is deep, and the deeper it is, the more consistent the temperature stays. That's why it can freeze on the top, but they're fine down below. But evidently, it hasn't changed that much. We'll see if it does or not, because you can see them swimming there. Yeah, we all love fish. We love fish. So I've been thinking, and I try to think outside of the box, and I try and look at multiple scenarios and things that are possible, because nobody's right about just one thought. You can't be single-minded. You got to look at things from a different perspective and think, what's really going on here? First thing in the NFL, the last thing you want is people to know what your intentions are. You know what I'm saying? You want to be deceptive because a player might be falling because they're thinking, oh, they're not going to get that guy, kind of like CeeDee Lamb. The Eagles thought for sure they were going to get CeeDee Lamb. Oh, the Cowboys, there's no way in the world they'll draft a wide receiver, but yet, boom, there he is, and they took him, screwed him over. Had they known that the Cowboys were going to take him, they would have traded up ahead of us to try and get him. Yeah. So deception is key. You got to be secret, like a secret agent. And I'm trying to think, because my last video, when I found out that they're trying to trade La'el Collins, I said the Cowboys are either the dumbest front office people or they're geniuses. So here's an interesting take for you. They may be having some interest in Bobby Wagner, okay? The problem is a lot of people have interest in Bobby Wagner. Unlike KJ Wright. KJ Wright last year, the Cowboys had some interest in, about the same age as Bobby Wagner. And of course, we would tie him in because we had Dan Quinn. But KJ Wright was never the linebacker that Bobby Wagner was. And the numbers for KJ Wright were actually a little bit downhill. And KJ Wright has had some injury history. Cowboys never, of course, signed him, didn't bring him in or anything like that. Bobby Wagner, on the other hand, if you watched yesterday when we were breaking down Bobby Wagner's seasons versus, say, Anthony Hitchens. Anthony Hitchens said he would love to come back and play with Micah Parsons. I bet a lot of people would like to play with Micah Parsons, because you look at that and say, he's going to get the lion's share of attention, which means that's going to make it easier for me. And that's one of the things you got to think about with Bobby Wagner. So back to, are the Cowboys the dumbest front office, or are they actually geniuses? Thinking about getting rid of La'el Collins, thinking about asking DeMarcus Lawrence to take a pay cut, thinking about cutting Amari Cooper, is going to bring them more money. Now, you could look at this and say, we're going to get more money right now because we're going to try and be a player in free agency. When we start talking about some of the lower tier guys that we have, that we're not putting on the tenders, that they're looking like they're trying to free up capital. When we say we don't have enough money to sign the punter, it's like they're grabbing this money for something. And you can't tell me that they honestly don't look and say, other teams, the Rams are talking about keeping Von Miller, at $14, $16 million, of bringing back Odell Beckham for $10, $12 million. That other teams are shoring themselves up and making themselves ready because they look at this and say, Tom Brady's no longer in the division. Russell Wilson's no longer in the conference. This might be the time to try and see if we can repeat, if you're the Rams or if you're the Green Bay Packers, to try and go all in, these last couple of years of Aaron Rodgers. And you would think that the Dallas Cowboys should think that way as well. And they may actually be. And it could be that Stephen Jones is just trying to play the game and say, no, we're looking for value. We're not looking for the big people. And bam, just like that, they go make an offer for somebody. Now, the bottom line is, when we talk about a guy like Bobby Wagner, we already hear rumors that the AFC West, that everybody wants him, everybody but Seattle. That the Cardinals want him, that the 49ers want him, that the Rams want him. And it'd be amazing. Here's where it'd be crazy. If the Rams went ahead and got him and the Cowboys can't sign a punter. All right. How did the Dallas Cowboys get Bobby Wagner? Well, if we look at La'el Collins this past year missed 7 games because of not taking the drug tests. During that time, when we had Terrence Steele at right tackle, that was the best time that the Cowboys offensive line played. Let's be real here. That was the best time the offense was going. Tyron Smith was healthy, and I had said, one way or the other, one of the two have to go. Either La'el Collins or Tyron Smith. You can't have both of these two guys, big money like that, along with Zach Martin's contract. And it behooves you to get rid of one or the other. And of course, the Cowboys are going to believe that Tyron Smith is going to be healthy like they do every year, okay? They believe in Santa Claus, and they believe that Tyron Smith's not going to miss any games, and he's going to get back to where he was. He does for a while, but you know he's going to miss some time. It's just the way it is. So the Cowboys' offensive line worked without La'el Collins. It didn't work without Tyron Smith. It didn't work without Tyron Smith. It worked without La'el Collins, so that may be the thinking of the Cowboys. And if they can trade him, they will save more money than just cutting him. If they do that, if they do let go D-Law, we've talked about D-Law, and here, if you're going to cut him and do something to improve the team, by all means, that's the best thing to do. If you're going to say, we're going to get rid of a guy who's really good, not as good as $27 million, but he's still a really good player. If you then turn that money, that's great money that you're paying him, and turn that into a couple of players, I'm all on board. Especially if one of those is Bobby Wagner. Now, the Cowboys may not be able to go all in like some of the other teams, or aren't willing to. But the Cowboys may have a secret weapon or two. One, you look at guys that look and say, Micah Parsons is a guy I want to play with. That guy turned a defense around by himself. That factor right there may play into the hands of Bobby Wagner of saying, I'd like to play with a guy like that. The other part that may be the secret weapon is Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, when they won his one Super Bowl and went to the second. The second one, they should have won. The defense played good enough. The problem was, Pete Carroll decided, I don't want Marshawn Lynch to run it in. I'm going to put it in the hand of my quarterback. And the quarterback, well, he threw an interception. New England wins the game, and the rest is history. So back to this whole thing that the quarterback, it's the win and lose. Well, he lost that one. Russell Wilson lost that Super Bowl. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The defense, and they blamed him for the longest time, which was part of the riff of why some of those people like Richard Sherman had to go. But if we are to believe in the relationship of what Bobby Wagner has said, great defensive mind, I'm sure after having the last few years in Seattle, which have been disappointing, that Bobby Wagner wouldn't mind rekindling with Dan Quinn. Because, see, Dan Quinn is not just your regular coach. When you listen to Micah Parsons talking about the relationship that he has with them beyond football, you know, you hear Micah Parsons talking about Mike McCarthy, and it's like, oh, he don't interact with us. Dan Quinn is so hands-on with guys. I mean, damn, how can you not love Dan Quinn? Dan Quinn's a couple years younger than me, but he also played nose guard. Back when they used to call it nose guard, not nose tackle. He was the man in the middle like me. He understands that beat down. He understands how you got to use your hands and the speed and everything else. And he gets down and dirty with the guys. And I'm sure that looking at that might be a slight advantage in helping to bring him in. You get Dan Quinn. Hey, Bobby, come let me talk to you, buddy. Let me talk to you. Let's work this thing out. And this is the opposite of what I was doing on the other video. This is just looking at both sides of the fence, and then you can decide what is real and what is not real. If the Cowboys are just dumbasses in the front office, or if really they're geniuses. And if the Dallas Cowboys, I'm going to say this right now. If the Dallas Cowboys, who've been doing the rope-a-dope on us, okay, and playing Dumb and Dumber, if they end up fixing their salary cap situation, if they're able to trade Lyle Collins and get some cap relief, right? Cap relief, as well as a draft pick to be able to draft more players in this line-filled draft. There's a lot of linemen, both ways. If they are able to free up some money with DeMarcus Lawrence, get Bobby Wagner, and finally listen to me about getting a true one technique dog, a roll-off dumpster full of gravel, a freaking fire hydrant. And you know, if you've ever backed into a fire hydrant, that fire hydrant don't move, but your damn bumper sure gets the hell out the way, don't it? It gets out the side. Yeah. If they do that, get a few more draft picks, grab some more young talent, by all means. We'll have to say, that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, they sure can keep a secret. They can keep a secret for like 25 years, can't they? Yeah, they can keep, yeah, and they kept us thinking, they played the great deception here, the great deception of making us think that they are just so stupid, and they end up pulling off a coup. It could happen. It could happen. So that is my hope. That is my wish. Because ultimately, my dream is to have a lights-out linebacker. And I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I said Bobby Wagner and or Demario Davis would probably be let go because of cap reasons. And if the Cowboys were to get one of these linebackers that are linebackers that play downhill, okay? By that I mean when they hit you, you go backwards, as opposed to Jalen Smith. When he hits you, he goes for a ride for about 4 or 5 yards down the field while they pick up the first down. If they get a linebacker that can play downhill, that's not worried about his neck breaking like Van Der Esch. If they get a one-technique monster to go with Gallimore and OC, maybe re-sign Randy Gregory on the other side and put Micah Parsons, that defense is a defense that will get you deep in the playoffs. And that's what I got. So, there you go. And I hope you enjoyed the fish, because we all love fish here. I can't wait. Maybe in about 2 more weeks, they'll be ready to start eating and swimming in my hands and stuff when it warms up here. Marco's here, and I'll catch you later.